swoon. As you fade to black, does it hit you that you ain't coming back now? With hell and fury inside, they hunt you down through the night. Your darkest fear by their side. They'll strike when the time is right.
Wishing the well, don't ask me, I'll never tell. I looked at you as it fell, and now you're in my way. I trade my soul for a wish.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Thank you for joining me for another edition of the Bob Sullivan Show on latenightsportsradio.com. Feel free to call in at 585-633-7487 if you want to voice your opinions on NFL, NBA, whatever you want. I'm also joined by co-host tonight, Jabari Davis from BasketballInsiders.com. How you doing today, Jabari?
I'm great, Bob. Always great to be with you.
Yeah, it's we haven't been able to talk in a while, but this it's always fun to catch up and talk some NBA, talk some NFL, and the conversation sometimes derails, but always in a good way.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't gotten any complaints, so hopefully tonight won't be the first time.
Yeah. NFL-wise, best game of the day, most talked about game going in, Broncos and the Seahawks. It goes into overtime. Peyton Manning leads a last-minute drive to tie it up, and then the Seahawks wind up winning in overtime on touchdown. What do you just looking at this, there's so much talk about Richard Sherman. Oh, he gets burned. Was Peyton Manning really that clutch? How much did you really care about this game today going in?
Well, I cared enough to actually watch it. Most of my time, even in the off season, and as you well know, is pretty much dedicated to the NBA or watching clips or checking on who's working in camp, who's working in pre-camp workouts, stuff like that. But this game, this matchup, maybe I bought into the hype. Maybe I looked at that and I saw Richard Sherman on the graphic, and that was why. So being a Raider fan, it isn't like I have much to look forward to each Sunday, so I would say this was probably my most anticipated game so far.
Well, the whole, the era we live in now is, let's overreact to something right off the bat. And, the quick thing is, okay, the Broncos are only 6 points. They've cut the differential between them and the Seahawks from last year. I don't really buy that. It's a completely different game. They're two different teams. I don't think it's like they've closed the gap or anything. I mean, Peyton Manning, you get him in a playoff pressure situation. I don't think he's going to come through for you again. Should I believe, that the Broncos have really improved, or what should I take from this game, or should I take anything?
Well, of course, this is what, week 3? There's a significant difference between, as you kind of alluded to, significant difference between, what takes place in week 3 in a home game and, what takes place, Super Bowl week, by that time of the year. But you can take from it that Denver played a good game. You can take from it that Peyton, was able to, lead them back. I'll be honest with you. I thought the game was kind of, I wouldn't have said over, but I didn't necessarily anticipate that quick strike. So he did a good job in leading them back. But at the end of the day, like you said, Peyton has been absolutely fantastic in the regular season, and this is not going to be one of those moments where I'm just bad-mouthing him. So it doesn't come as any surprise that you see this type of comeback, but at the whenever you're dealing with with any player, but specifically with Peyton, show me what you got in the Super Bowl.
Isn't it kind of weird with Peyton Manning how over his whole career? I mean, he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best, year in, year out. And then you get to the playoffs and it's, it's all out the window. Like, he's so prepared for every regular season game, and then the playoffs, like, that seems like the one thing that would be to your advantage is to be the most prepared quarterback come playoff time. And that seems like it's almost like a deterrent for him, because, it's like, once something's thrown at him, something different that's thrown at him in the playoffs, he can't handle it. Why do you think it is that he's not as good in the playoffs?
This is not me sidestepping this question, but I can actually compare it to like in the NBA. And of course, your listeners are going to be like, "Geez, this guy, why is Bob even talking NFL to this guy? He's just going to continue to bring it back to the NBA." Bear with me, folks. All right, so how there's teams in the NBA where they're excellent regular season teams. They a lot of times they're the up-tempo teams. The teams like Denver when they're rolling and they're pretty good, or Phoenix when when they're playing that up-tempo style. But then when it comes to the playoffs, obviously things slow down. Everybody can kind of game plan for you. Same thing with Peyton. Like Peyton, it's obvious that he's absolutely prepared, throughout the regular season, and I think he probably goes through the same preparation when it comes to the postseason. The difference is, while of course they're game planning against you, throughout the regular season, when it comes to the playoffs, everybody is focused just solely on beating you. You know what I mean? Like. So maybe it's that he does he continues to do the same thing, but everybody else just ups their game or ups their focus. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but with him, at least in Indy, he was able to, he manages the game where it's like he's able to manage time of possession and all that stuff. Like his offense, they score a lot of points, but it's not like it's more methodical than it is, quick. It's not like a Chip Kelly offense. It's more, he's just going to kind of, pretty much, I don't know how to explain it, but he's not going to, it's not quick strike, they'll score throughout the game, but he manages the time of possession pretty well. So the fact that he's not able to win just kind of doesn't make sense to me.
Well, like look at today. I'm not sure what the time of possession was, in today's game, but you're right. He generally, does maintain and manage time of possession, fairly well, and usually to his team's advantage. If anything, that's to a direct benefit to his own defense. in today's game, it came down to it. It came down to the end of the game. Overtime. He had already led them back. It was time for the defense to step up, and they simply didn't. So, it's not like he had an opportunity. He threw a pick. I know he threw that pick in the fourth, but it's not like he had an opportunity in overtime. He threw a pick, and that's why they lost. He didn't get to put the helmet on. I mean, well, he had it on, but he didn't get to run out. He didn't get to run out.
Right. Well, do you,
And believe me, you're making me defend the Bronco.
Well, at least it's not like defending, Tim Tebow or something like that, a Bronco that deserves, no credit.
Yeah.
Are you much into fantasy this year or at all? Are you a fantasy player?
I am the worst fantasy player, whether it's NBA, NFL. I wanted baseball, which I have no idea why I did that. Pretty much, if I pick a player, I have to apologize to all my friends. Like if that player plays for their favorite team, because it's a guarantee they're either going to get hurt or have the worst statistical season of their career. So to answer your question is, yes, I play, but I'm not really playing.
So basically, you are like a Madden jinx, sort of. The Jabari jinx if you draft a player. All right.
Absolutely. When I draft you, you're guaranteed. I don't want to make a joke about somebody tearing their Achilles, but yeah, you're guaranteed to have a bad season.
Well, I've just been, on Twitter, it's like every other tweet, pretty much, it's not even every other tweet, it's almost every tweet now. There's nobody's like a fan of a specific team. Everybody's, it's good for the league, but, everybody has these fantasy teams. Everybody's, watching all these different games. I don't even know who people are rooting for, and then it's like, oh, okay. They have, and then you see people like Jameson, who's legitimately just betting on the game, and you're like, oh, okay, he's rooting for them because he bet on the game. But, I don't even know, and then those are the same people that criticize others for not being true fans. What's your opinion of the fantasy sports world?
To each their own. Honestly, like, while I don't take it seriously, and yes, because I don't take it all that seriously, when I see all of those tweets, I kind of try to scroll past quickly. But at the end of the day, if it makes you happy, if you're betting on fantasy, because I know folks that actually bet on fantasy, let alone bet on games, then you know what, that's them and their time and their money and their resources. So, at the end of the day, it doesn't bug me. I just don't really care all that much about it, even though, like I said, I'm playing in one right now. It's not really that serious. It's like, hey, look, if Wes Welker only scores, or doesn't score a touchdown and only gets a couple of catches, it's really not going to, and I lose by 8 points, I'm not going into Monday like, oh, man, I'm really down and dejected. I really couldn't care less.